The first time I saw humans cry, I thought they were malfunctioning. My name is Korth Val, and I serve as Senior Intelligence Coordinator for the Galactic Defense Council. 23 years of analyzing species across the galaxy, and I thought I had seen everything. War-hungry Craxians who could tear through starship hulls with their bare claws. The ice-cold Volthak who calculated genocide like a mathematical equation. Even the mysterious, ethereal collective who could manipulate matter with pure thought. But humans? Humans were supposed to be the easy ones. Our initial reports classified them as a Level 2 civilization. Primitive nuclear technology, barely capable of reaching their own moon consistently. Their military was laughably outdated by galactic standards. No energy shields, no plasma weapons, no faster-than-light communication systems worth mentioning. They fought each other over patches of dirt and invisible lines they drew on maps. The Council barely bothered cataloging them. Just another backwater species that would probably blow themselves up before they figured out proper space travel. Standard protocol: monitor from a distance, maybe establish trade relations in a few centuries when they stop being so ridiculously violent toward each other. That was before the Blackstone incident. I still remember the day the report landed on my desk. Commander Vex-Nine of the 4th Exploratory Fleet had encountered what he called unusual resistance during a routine mining operation in the human's outer system. The asteroid belt contained rare element deposits that the Council needed for our new defense installations. Simple extraction mission. The humans had no presence there anyway, except they did at a small research station, barely 20 personnel, studying rock formations or some equally mundane human obsession. The station was so primitive it did not even register on our initial scans. Vex-Nine's orders were clear. Minimal contact, complete the mission, avoid unnecessary complications. But Vex-Nine had always been thorough. When humans refused to evacuate their station, citing some incomprehensible legal document about territorial sovereignty, Vex-Nine decided to demonstrate galactic superiority. A single warning shot from his flagship's particle beam array. Precise, controlled, designed to disable their communications array and encourage swift compliance. The shot pierced their station's hull like tissue paper. 17 adults died instantly in the decompression. The 3 survivors managed to reach an emergency pod, but their life support systems were failing. Standard Council protocol suggested rescue and relocation to the nearest habitable world with compensation for inconvenience. Vex-Nine chose a different approach. He considered the survivors witnesses to galactic military capabilities, potential security risks. His report stated that their pod suffered navigational failure and drifted into the system's star. Clean, efficient, problem solved. The only issue was the child. Her name was Lucy Martinez, age 7, daughter of Dr. Maria Martinez, the station's lead geologist. She had been in the station's shielded core during the attack, protected by emergency barriers. When Vex-Nine's boarding teams swept the wreckage, they found her hiding in a storage compartment, clutching a stuffed animal and sobbing. Standard protocol for child survivors was immediate medical attention and placement with compatible species for adoption. Human children adapted well to galactic society with proper care. The paperwork was routine, but Vex-Nine saw another loose end. His report listed the child as additional casualty of station malfunction. No boarding teams found survivors. No emergency pods launched successfully. Complete loss of life due to inadequate human engineering. Case closed. I processed that report without question. Another minor incident in the galaxy's endless expansion. The humans would never know what happened to their missing people. Space was dangerous, after all. Equipment failures occurred constantly among primitive civilizations. What I did not expect was for the humans to figure out the truth. 3 months later, our listening post detected unusual activity in human space. Military vessels moving in coordinated patterns. Communications traffic increasing exponentially. Their entire planet seemed to be mobilizing for something. Our xenobiologists assured us this was normal human behavior. They fought each other constantly over trivial matters. Probably another one of their resource wars or territorial disputes. Nothing concerning galactic interests, Then the human fleet appeared at the edge of Council Space Point 12 ships. Crude, bulky vessels held together with welds and determination. No energy shields, no antimatter drives, no quantum navigation systems. They moved like ancient cargo haulers, slow and clumsy compared to our sleek destroyers. The Council's first fleet numbered 300 vessels. Each ship could have obliterated the entire human force without engaging primary weapon systems. When Admiral Corks Prime received their transmission requesting immediate diplomatic contact, he barely suppressed laughter. Council flagship dominance to primitive human vessels. Corks Prime responded with deliberate condescension. You are approaching restricted galactic territory. Turn back immediately or face military action. The human response came from a woman who identified herself as Admiral Catherine Ross, commander of the Earth Defense Force. Her voice carried something I had never heard from a Level 2 species before: absolute certainty. Council vessel, this is Admiral Ross. We know what your people did to Research Station Blackstone. We know about the 20 souls murdered in cold blood. We know about 7-year-old Lucy Martinez, executed by your commander for the crime of being a witness. The bridge fell silent. How could they possibly know details that were classified beyond their security clearance level? Our intelligence networks were impenetrable. No human possessed the technology to intercept Council communications. Admiral Corks Prime recovered quickly. Unknown human commander, you are clearly suffering from some form of psychological distress. No Council forces have engaged human installations. Your species lacks strategic importance for military action. Cut the diplomatic double talk, Admiral. Admiral Ross's voice turned ice cold. We have evidence. Sensor logs from automated deep space monitoring stations. Spectral analysis of weapon signatures. Testimony from survivors your people thought were dead. Impossible. Vex-Nine's report confirmed no survivors. His teams have been thorough. Furthermore, Admiral Ross continued, we have Commander Vex-Nine. The bridge's atmosphere control systems seem to malfunction. Several officers stopped breathing entirely. Impossible, Admiral Corks Prime stated flatly. Commander Vex-Nine commands the 4th Exploratory Fleet. He is currently conducting standard operations in Sector 7. Negative, Admiral. Commander Vex-Nine is currently a guest aboard this vessel, along with his senior staff and complete mission logs from the Blackstone operation. My claws dug involuntarily into my workstation. Humans were Level 2. They could not possibly capture a Council commander and his staff. Their technology was primitive. Their military tactics were laughable. They fought with chemical propellants and metal projectiles, unless they were not as primitive as we believed. You want proof? Admiral Ross asked. Patch this transmission through to your intelligence services. Tell them to verify the current status of Commander Vex-Nine's flagship. Admiral Corks Prime gestured to his communications officer, who began frantically contacting 4th Fleet Command. The response came within minutes. 4th Exploratory Fleet had gone dark 6 weeks ago. No contact. No distress signals. Complete communications blackout. How? Admiral Corks Prime's voice cracked slightly. Admiral Ross paused before responding. When she spoke again, her tone carried the weight of absolute conviction. Admiral, your people made one critical error. You underestimated what humans become when you murder our children. The transmission cut to static. Within hours, intelligence reports flooded the Council chambers from across human space. Every major population center was constructing massive industrial complexes. Orbital shipyards were producing vessels at impossible speeds. Resource extraction operations had expanded to every available asteroid and moon. But the most disturbing reports came from our deep space monitoring stations. Human ships were appearing in impossible locations. Vessels that should have taken months to travel between systems were arriving in days. Ships that our sensors clearly identified as primitive chemical fuel designs were somehow matching the speed of our most advanced scouts, and they were capturing our people, not destroying Council vessels. Capturing them, intact, with crews alive for interrogation. Our military analyst called emergency sessions to review human capabilities. How had he missed advanced stealth technology? Were they hiding faster than light drives? What kind of weapons could disable Council ships without leaving debris? The answer came from an unexpected source, Dr. Thane Wickham, a human scientist we had been monitoring for potential recruitment. His research involved theoretical physics applications for space travel. Promising work, but decades behind current galactic standards. Dr. Wickham's latest transmission changed everything. To any Council representatives monitoring this frequency, he began, his voice steady and controlled. My name is Dr. Thane Wickham, Director of Applied Physics for the Earth Defense Initiative. I am transmitting specification for the technology currently being deployed against your forces. Technical schematics flooded our analysis computers. Weapon designs that violated several fundamental laws of physics. Propulsion systems that somehow created localized space-time distortions. Shielding technology that redirected energy rather than absorbing it. As you can see, Dr. Wickham continued, these designs incorporate principles your science considers impossible. Specifically, the application of quantum mechanics to macroscopic systems through what we call coherent reality manipulation. Impossible. No species in galactic history had successfully weaponized quantum uncertainty. The mathematical requirements alone would require computational power exceeding what most civilizations could generate. The interesting aspect, Dr. Wickham noted with what sounded like professional satisfaction, is that these technologies only function when operated by humans. Some unique aspect of human consciousness allows us to maintain quantum coherence at scales your species cannot achieve. In simpler terms, Admiral Quark's Prime, we can do things you cannot. And we learned how to do them very, very quickly when you gave us sufficient motivation. The transmission included detailed recordings of Council ships being disabled and captured, human vessels materializing from nowhere, energy weapons that seemed to bend around their targets before striking with impossible precision, ships accelerating beyond theoretical maximum speeds without destroying their own crews. But the most disturbing footage showed human boarding parties. They moved through Council ships like they owned them. No hesitation. No uncertainty. They knew exactly where to find critical systems, command centers, and personnel quarters. They disabled security measures that should have been completely foreign to their technology level. And they showed no mercy to anyone who resisted. One more thing, Admiral, Dr. Wickham concluded. We know the locations of every Council installation within 50 light years of human space. We know your patrol schedules, your communication codes, and your strategic weaknesses. We know because your people told us. All of them. Eventually, the transmission ended with coordinates for a diplomatic meeting. Admiral Quark's Prime had no choice but to respond. The alternative was watching the Fourth Fleet vanish ship by ship until the humans decided to move against Council space directly. The meeting location was a neutral system on the edge of both territories. Admiral Quark's Prime brought a full escort, 20 of the Council's most advanced warships, equipped with every defensive system available. The humans sent one ship. IT looked like a converted cargo hauler. Ugly, functional, covered with additional hull, plating, and weapon mounts that seemed randomly attached. No elegant curves or sophisticated engineering, just brutal efficiency and raw power. Council Fleet, this is Admiral Ross, requesting permission to come aboard for negotiations. Admiral Quark's Prime considered his options. His fleet could destroy the human vessel instantly, end this situation with overwhelming firepower, restore proper galactic order. But something in Admiral Ross's voice suggested that destroying her ship would be the last mistake he ever made. Permission granted, Admiral Ross. Docking Bay 7. The human delegation consisted of Admiral Ross and two companions, a middle-aged man introduced as General Marcus Webb, and a woman who identified herself simply as Director Liu. Admiral Ross was exactly what I expected from human military personnel, tall, disciplined, with eyes that had seen too much combat. General Webb carried himself like a career soldier, alert and ready for trouble. Director Liu was different. She appeared to be a civilian, wearing simple clothing and carrying no visible weapons. But something about her presence made every council officer in the room unconsciously step backward. Admiral Corks Prime. Admiral Ross began without preamble. We want Commander Vex-Nine and his staff returned to council custody. The Admiral's confusion was obvious. You captured them. Why would you return prisoners? Because, Admiral, we are not interested in prisoners. We are interested in justice. Director Lou stepped forward. When she spoke, her voice carried an undertone that made my scales itch. Commander Vex-Nine murdered 20 innocent researchers and 1 child. Your legal system considers this acceptable behavior. Ours does not. The Council maintains jurisdiction over all military personnel. Admiral Corks Prime replied carefully. Internal disciplinary action is not subject to external oversight. Admiral, General Webb interjected, you seem to be under the impression that this is a negotiation. The meeting room's atmosphere suddenly felt thick and oppressive. Every council officer present experienced the same sensation, the absolute certainty that they were in immediate danger. This is not a negotiation, Admiral Ross confirmed. This is an explanation of what happens next. Director Lou activated a small device that projected holographic displays throughout the room. Images of council installations, personnel records, strategic deployment schedules. We know everything, Admiral. Every base, every ship, every commander, every weakness. Your 4th Fleet is gone. Completely. Ships, crews, equipment, classified materials. All of it now belongs to us. Your 7th Reconnaissance Wing vanished last week. No distress signals. No survivors. No wreckage. 3 of your intelligence outposts have gone silent in the past month. Admiral Corks Prime's breathing became irregular. Impossible. Our security measures are impenetrable. Your security measures, Director Lou replied with something that might have been amusement, were designed to stop civilizations that play by your rules. Humans do not play by your rules. The holographic displays shifted to show human industrial output, shipyards producing vessels at rates that defied economic logic, weapons manufacturing facilities that operated around the clock, mining operations that stripped entire asteroids in days. In the 6 months since the Blackstone incident, Admiral Ross explained, humanity has built the largest military force in this sector of the galaxy. We have ships your sensors cannot detect, weapons your shields cannot stop, intelligence networks your security cannot penetrate, and we build it all for one purpose, making sure that what happened to Lucy Martinez never happens again. The displays showed human children, hundreds of thousands of them, playing in parks, attending schools, learning to read and write and dream about the future. Every human child represents our species' future. Director Lou stated quietly, when you murder our children, you attack our future. When you attack our future, you threaten our existence. When you threaten our existence, we eliminate the threat. So here is what happens next, Admiral. You return to council space. You inform your superiors that human territory is now off limits to all council operations. No mining, no exploration, no research, no contact of any kind. In exchange, we will return Commander Vex-Nine to face justice under your legal system. Admiral Corks Prime found his voice. And if the council refuses these terms? The 3 humans exchanged glances. Director Lou smiled, and every council officer in the room felt their blood freeze. Then we demonstrate why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy when properly motivated. The meeting ended with Admiral Corks Prime requesting immediate transport back to his flagship. The human delegation departed without ceremony, leaving behind only the lingering sense that everything had changed. Within hours, Council intelligence received reports from across human space. Every monitoring station had detected massive fleet movements. Hundreds of human vessels departing their territory simultaneously, heading toward Council space. But our sensors could not track them once they left human systems. The ships simply vanished from all detection methods, as if they had never existed. The Council's greatest military minds gathered for emergency sessions. How had humans developed technology decades ahead of galactic standards in mere months? Where had they acquired the resources for such massive construction projects? What weapons could disable Council ships without leaving identifiable energy signatures? The answer came from an unexpected source: the surviving research data from Station Blackstone. Dr. Maria Martinez had been more than a geologist. Her real research involved quantum mechanics applications for faster-than-light communication, theoretical work that the Council had dismissed as impossible. But Dr. Martinez had been close to a breakthrough. Her daughter Lucy had often watched her mother work, asking questions about particles and waves and the strange behavior of matter at quantum scales. 7-year-old Lucy Martinez had died clutching her mother's research notes. The breakthrough came when human scientists examined those blood-stained papers. Dr. Martinez's final calculations described something the Council's most advanced physicists had deemed impossible: conscious manipulation of quantum probability fields. The mathematics required a type of neural processing that existed in only one known species throughout the galaxy: humans. Their brains operated on quantum principles without realizing it. Every decision, every thought, every moment of creativity involved quantum processes that other species could only observe through sophisticated instruments. What humans called intuition was actually their consciousness directly interfacing with probability matrices. Lucy Martinez had inherited her mother's intellectual gifts. The research notes found in her small hands contained corrections to her mother's work, improvements that a 7-year-old child had made to theoretical physics calculations that challenged galactic understanding. But a child had died holding the key to rewriting the laws of reality. Within weeks of analyzing those notes, human engineers began producing technology that should not have functioned. Weapons that fired probability rather than energy. Ships that existed in multiple locations simultaneously until observation collapsed their wave functions. Communication systems that transmitted information faster than light by bypassing space-time entirely. The Council's response was predictable: complete denial followed by desperate attempts to acquire human technology through diplomatic channels. Ambassador Tralvos arrived at Earth's orbital stations 3 weeks after the diplomatic meeting. His mission was straightforward: negotiate access to human quantum manipulation research in exchange for advanced galactic technology and full Council membership. The human response was equally straightforward: immediate expulsion from their solar system. Ambassador Tralvos's next report to the Council contained a single disturbing observation. Every human he encountered, from military personnel to civilian dock workers, displayed the same expression when discussing the Blackstone incident. Not anger, not hatred, something far more dangerous: cold, methodical determination. They are not seeking revenge, Ambassador Tralvos reported to the Emergency Council session. Revenge implies emotional decision-making. These humans are systematically eliminating what they perceive as an existential threat to their species. Council military analysts dismissed this assessment. Humans were still classified as Level 2. Their quantum technology was impressive, but limited. A single Council battle group could destroy their entire military force through conventional means. Fleet Admiral Zorth Prime volunteered to demonstrate this fact. His battle group consisted of 47 vessels, including the Council's newest Dreadnought-class ships, equipped with antimatter weapons and full defensive arrays. The target was a human outpost in a disputed system where illegal mining operations had been reported. The human presence consisted of 3 ships: old, converted cargo haulers with obvious weapon modifications. No shields, no advanced propulsion systems. Exactly the kind of primitive vessels that Council forces had been destroying for centuries. Fleet Admiral Zorth Prime's attack began with a standard intimidation display: long-range particle beam strikes designed to disable human engines and communications. Surrender would follow quickly once they realized resistance was hopeless. The particle beams struck empty space, not deflected, not absorbed. The human ships simply were not where the Council sensors indicated them to be. Targeting computers showed clear locks on human vessels, but weapons struck vacuum. Recalibrate targeting systems, Fleet Admiral Zorth Prime ordered. These humans are using some form of stealth technology. The second volley produced identical results. Energy weapons fired at confirmed targets struck nothing but cosmic dust. The human ships remained visible to sensors, but somehow existed slightly outside normal space-time. Then the humans began firing back. The weapons that struck Council ships defied every principle of known physics. Energy beams that curved through space like liquid. Projectiles that accelerated after leaving their launch tubes. Explosions that occur before impact. But the most disturbing aspect was not the weapons themselves. It was their effect on Council personnel. Crew members began reporting vivid hallucinations. Memories of events that had never occurred. Certainty that their ships were under attack by vessels that sensors could not detect. Several officers suffered complete psychological breakdown, screaming about probability shadows and quantum echoes. Within minutes, half of Fleet Admiral Zorthprime's battle group was effectively disabled by crews who could no longer distinguish reality from quantum possibility. The human commander transmitted a message on standard Council frequencies. Fleet Admiral Zorthprime, this is Captain Janet Pierce of the Earth Defense Force. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this system before we demonstrate additional capabilities. Fleet Admiral Zorthprime had commanded Council forces for 23 years. He had never retreated from inferior opponents. His flagship alone possessed enough firepower to sterilize entire planets. But something in Captain Pierce's voice convinced him that continued engagement would result in the complete destruction of his command. The Council battle group withdrew in disorder, leaving behind 6 ships whose crews had suffered total psychological collapse. Those vessels were recovered by human forces and their crews subjected to what official reports described as intensive debriefing procedures. The survivors who were eventually returned to Council space brought disturbing reports about human interrogation methods. Not physical torture, something far more invasive. Humans had learned to manipulate quantum states within living consciousness. They could access memories that subjects did not know they possessed, extract information that had been buried in subconscious thought processes, force individuals to experience alternate probability timelines where different decisions had been made in simpler terms. Humans could make their prisoners live through every possible version of reality until they revealed everything they knew. Council intelligence received detailed reports about human military capabilities, strategic planning, and technological development from officers who had experienced firsthand the consequences of resistance. The information painted a terrifying picture of human society's transformation. Every aspect of human civilization had been restructured around a single objective, ensuring that no external force could ever again threaten their children. Industrial production focused exclusively on military applications. Scientific research pursued only weapons development. Educational systems taught quantum mechanics to elementary students. Most disturbing, human population centers have been redesigned as fortress cities capable of withstanding prolonged siege warfare. Children attended schools built inside heavily armored complexes. Hospitals included military-grade defensive systems. Even recreational facilities were constructed with combat applications in mind. An entire species had transformed itself into a military force dedicated to protecting its young. The Council's response was immediate escalation. If humans possessed technology that could disable individual ships, the solution was overwhelming numerical superiority. A fleet large enough to absorb losses while delivering decisive strike capability. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta assembled the largest military force in Council history. 300 vessels representing every member species. Dreadnoughts from the Craxian Empire. Stealth destroyers from the Volthak Confederacy. Carrier groups from the Ethereal Collective. The combined firepower could reduce entire star systems to cosmic debris. The target was Earth itself. Human homeworld possessed no significant orbital defenses. No military installations capable of resisting sustained bombardment. Standard invasion doctrine called for demonstration strikes against military targets followed by demands for unconditional surrender. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta's fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. expecting to find desperate human defenders and hastily constructed defensive platforms. Instead, they found nothing. No ships, no space stations, no orbital instalations, no signs of industrial activity. Earth appeared to be completely undefended, as if its entire population had simply vanished. Long-range sensors detected normal atmospheric conditions and surface temperatures. Cities remained intact. Agricultural areas showed healthy vegetation, but no electromagnetic emissions suggested active civilization. Possible evacuation scenario suggested intelligence coordinator Vex-Nine. Humans may have relocated their population to avoid military confrontation. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta considered this possibility. Complete planetary evacuation would require massive transportation resources and advance warning of Council intentions. Neither seemed likely given human technological limitations. Deploy reconnaissance squadrons ordered. Full spectrum analysis of planetary surface. Locate human population centers and military installations. 24 scout ships approached Earth's atmosphere, equipped with every sensor technology available to Council science. Their mission was straightforward: confirm human defensive capabilities and identify optimal targets for bombardment. None of the scout ships reported back. No distress signals. No weapons discharge. No debris fields. The ships simply vanished from all sensors once they entered Earth's atmosphere. Atmospheric interference suggested Fleet Coordinator Vex-7. Possible magnetic field disruption of communication systems. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta deployed additional squadrons with improved shielding and redundant communication arrays. Results were identical. Complete loss of contact once ships approached planetary surface. After losing 60 vessels to unknown causes, Grand Admiral Quarks Theta made a decision that would haunt Council military doctrine for generations. He ordered direct bombardment of Earth's surface. The first antimatter torpedo struck the North American continent with enough force to vaporize a mountain range. The explosion registered on sensors as a standard nuclear detonation with appropriate electromagnetic signature and thermal emissions. The second torpedo struck the European landmass with identical results. Why the fourth torpedo, Grand Admiral Quarks Theta, realized something was fundamentally wrong. Earth was absorbing planet-killing weapons without significant damage. Explosions that should have created 1,000-kilometer craters were producing effects equivalent to conventional chemical warheads. Planetary shielding, concluded Science Officer Rolf II. Humans have developed defensive technology capable of dispersing antimatter explosions across alternate probability matrices. In simpler terms, Admiral, they're spreading the damage across multiple versions of reality. Our weapons are destroying uninhabited versions of Earth while leaving their actual planet unharmed. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta ordered maximum bombardment. Every ship, every weapon, continuous fire until human defenses collapsed or ammunition was exhausted. The Council fleet unleashed enough destructive power to shatter moons. Antimatter torpedoes, plasma cannons, gravitational disruptors, quantum destabilizers, weapons that had ended wars and toppled civilizations. Earth absorbed the assault without visible effect. Then the humans struck back. Ships began appearing throughout the Council fleet, not approaching from external positions, materializing directly inside formation patterns. Human vessels that existed in impossible locations, surrounded by Council ships whose sensors registered empty space. The attack was not random. Human forces targeted specific vessels with precision that suggested complete knowledge of Council fleet organization. Command ships, communication relays, ammunition storage vessels. Each strike disabled maximum operational capacity with minimum resource expenditure. But the most terrifying aspect was the weapons themselves. Human attacks did not destroy Council ships. They transformed them. Metal hulls became brittle crystal that shattered at touch. Energy systems reversed polarity and discharged into their own vessels. Life support systems began producing atmospheric compositions lethal to their crews. Within minutes, the largest military force in galactic history was reduced to drifting wreckage populated by crews who could no longer survive in their own ships. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta found himself aboard a vessel whose atmosphere had become toxic to his respiratory system. Emergency life support provided perhaps 30 minutes of breathable air. His communications officer reported similar conditions throughout the fleet. Then Admiral Catherine Ross's voice filled the command bridge. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta, this is Admiral Ross. We are prepared to provide life support assistance to your surviving personnel. The human offer was simple: immediate medical evacuation for all Council crews in exchange for complete withdrawal from human space and formal recognition of human territorial sovereignty. Grand Admiral Quarks Theta had no choice. The alternative was watching 300 ship crews die from atmospheric poisoning. The evacuation process revealed the true extent of human capabilities. Human ships could manipulate matter at the molecular level. Toxic atmospheres became breathable within seconds. Damaged life support systems repaired themselves through quantum field manipulation. Injured personnel recovered from wounds that should have been fatal. Humans possessed technology that could rewrite the fundamental properties of reality. Council medical officers who treated the evacuated crews reported impossible observations. Some personnel exhibited memories of events that had occurred in alternate timelines. Others displayed knowledge of information they had never accessed. Several individuals claimed to have experienced multiple versions of the battle simultaneously. The humans were not just manipulating probability. They were accessing alternate realities and extracting useful information from quantum possibilities that existed in parallel dimensions. 0.6 months after the Earth assault, I received my final intelligence briefing about human activities. The report contained information that challenged everything the Council believed about civilizational development. Humans had established colonies in 17 star systems, not through conventional space travel. They had learned to exist in multiple realities simultaneously, allowing them to colonize planets that existed only in specific probability matrices. Their population had increased by 40% through quantum reproduction techniques that created genetically stable offspring from probability rather than biological processes. Most disturbing, they had begun recruiting members from other species, not through conquest or coercion. They offered technology that could extend lifespan, enhance cognitive function, and provide access to quantum manipulation abilities. The price was simple: absolute commitment to protecting human children and complete loyalty to human civilization. Volunteers from across the galaxy were abandoning their home species to join humanity. The promise of transcending physical limitations and gaining access to reality-altering technology proved irresistible to individuals seeking advancement beyond conventional possibilities. Within 2 years, human civilization included representatives from 47 different species, all of them enhanced through quantum integration, all of them capable of manipulating probability fields, all of them dedicated to ensuring that no force in the galaxy could threaten human children. The Council's final report on human activities reached a simple conclusion: humanity had evolved beyond conventional definitions of civilization. They represented a new form of existence that combined biological consciousness with quantum manipulation technology. They had become something unprecedented in galactic history, a species capable of rewriting reality to ensure their survival. The formal peace treaty between the Council and humanity contained a single provision: complete non-interference in human activities in exchange for human non-aggression toward Council territories. The treaty was signed on the anniversary of Lucy Martinez's death. Today, human space encompasses 200 star systems. Their population includes billions of enhanced individuals from species across the galaxy. Their technology continues to advance in directions that challenge fundamental understanding of physics and reality, and every human child grows up knowing that their species will never again allow external forces to threaten their existence. The Blackstone incident taught the galaxy a simple lesson: never underestimate what humans become when you murder their children. Some species wage war for territory. Others fight for resources or ideology. Humans wage war for their future, and they always win.